So today I wanted to talk a little bit about why I first started cold plunging, what drew me to it, what benefit I first was seeking from it, and this practice of contrast therapy as a whole. So I am originally from the West Coast, California, Utah. I grew up in Utah. And there in the mountains, you have cold plunging in every canyon. You've got a river, especially in the wintertime. It's pretty cold. So I grew up going on hikes, jumping in rivers, jumping in lakes that were cold. I grew up a lot of times going to Southern California when the water was, even for Christmas break, when the water was 50 degrees, and jumping in there, not caring. So I grew up definitely in cold water. But back in 2019 was when I really started to do it consistently. And the reason that I started was simply for mental toughness. I was really big into personal development, really big in challenging myself, whether that be in the gym or trail running or sports or cold plunging. It's something that I found that was really simple and really effective at challenging me. It was always a challenge, and even years later, it still can be quite a big challenge, quite a big mental toughness technique to do something that you don't necessarily want to do and to do it anyways. And I'll tell you here in a minute why that's so beneficial for you. But all in all, I just started it for fun, really. I started doing it in 2019 to challenge myself, to challenge my friends to do the same. And it started off on hikes or on trail running, and then we'd jump in the waterfall at the end, or the river, or a lake that was freezing. And then eventually it became so addicting, such a habit of mine, to buy a horse trough. I bought a big horse trough and I put it in my backyard, and every winter especially it would freeze over. Sometimes the water would freeze half of it, so that thick of ice and then that thick of water underneath. And it had an axe. It felt really cool, especially when there was a blizzard going on, it was snowing outside, to hack through the ice and to jump in. It felt really confidence building, really mentally tough building for me personally, and so fun to invite over friends and to start a little trend in different guys that I worked with, different friends that I had around the area, to invite them over and to challenge them to jump in the cold plunge. That's where it started. Then I moved out here locally to Greer, South Carolina. And when I moved out here, I didn't have a place that I could just go plunge. Especially in the summer times, even bags of ice will melt pretty instantly. And in the winter time, rivers can get pretty cold. I've found some that are pretty cold, but nothing quite like what I was used to. Even my cold showers took a dip, because taking cold showers is a habit of mine that started even probably before this cold plunging practice in 2019. And the water just wasn't getting too cold out here because it's so hot, so humid, and I missed it. So I started looking into doing it not only for myself, but also bringing it here so that other people can experience the consistent benefits of cold plunging and of the sauna use with contrast therapy. Now, this benefit that I was seeking in my story, my first benefit that I was looking for, wasn't necessarily the physical benefits, wasn't necessarily an increase in dopamine or endorphins or any of these things. The simple thing that I was looking for when I started cold plunging was mental toughness, was to challenge myself, was to show myself that I could do hard things. And there is a certain magic in doing these things, in doing something that you don't think you can do or that you don't want to do, that is healthy for you, and then doing it anyways, voluntarily doing it, is going to work wonders in your life. It transfers to every area of your life. And here's the big difference. A lot of the things that we face in life are out of our control. A lot of the challenges, a lot of the adversity that is going to confront us we don't have a say whether it confronts us or not. It's involuntarily facing hard things. So if you can have a practice where you are voluntarily facing hard things, where you're choosing to, where you have a say, you're using your own free will and choice to do something hard, to accomplish something hard, even if it's just for 2 minutes, that gives you mental toughness, it gives you a mental fortitude, it gives you an emotional resilience embedded in your character, so that when you go out back into the world and you are facing hard things involuntarily, when adversity comes that you have no say over, that you have no control over, you have been flexing this mental fortitude muscle. You have been working out this emotional resilience already. So you can use that emotional resilience, that fortitude, that toughness that's in your character, that's in your mind, directly for whatever you're facing in the outside world. It directly impacts everything that you face. Not only are you used to doing hard things and facing hard things, but you're choosing to do so. It develops this mental toughness that I'm speaking to, this emotional resilience that I speak to, is developed in a whole new way when you're choosing to put yourself into the fire, or choosing to put yourself into, in this instance, the cold water. Because you're using your power of choice to do something hard, your mind, body, and soul is reprogramming, is learning its capacity to handle hard things, its capacity to navigate through adversity, to breathe through the challenge. And that takes me, to my next point with this emotional resilience. In my personal practice, jumping in, when I got really, really deep into it, was doing it 8 minutes in a cold plunge, and every 2 minutes I would shake my body, which broke up my thermal barrier, which makes the cold return even worse than when you first jumped in. When I was doing this, it was at the peak of my personal practice when I was doing it a ton, and I was investing in another separate business, completely different. I had 2 kids under 2, my wife, I had a lot of bills. I was making a lot of real estate moves at the time, which was a lot of capital leaving. And even with all of that, and with really having no brotherhood or no people really that had my back, I had partners and I had friends, and that was all beneficial. But I never had someone that was completely with me. And this is going to sound really cheesy, but the thing that was for me, the thing that was with me, the thing that always had my back during this period of my life was cold plunge. Sounds really cheesy. But it really was a relationship that I built with the practice, with the water, with myself. That's really what it is a relationship that I built with myself in that cold water, learning to be calm within the chaos. Because no matter what was going on in my head or in my outside world, as soon as I got in the water, I was present. And then it was about, can I survive this 8 minutes? Do I dare shake again in 2 minutes to break that thermal barrier and allow the cold water to come back in? And it was really this relationship building with my own mind, with my own ability and capability to confront hard things. And my confidence, and not a fake confidence, not an egoic confidence, not a confidence of the world, but a confidence of the spirit, a confidence of grounded in humility and of assurance and of earned, I know that I got this, started to increase and increase and increase until you get to this point where you have an unshakable confidence in everything that you're facing, whether that's a breakup, whether that is financial burdens, whether that is raising kids, whether whatever it may be, whatever area of your life, this simple practice of consistently doing something that you do not want to do, voluntarily doing something, choosing to do something that is hard, is going to give you an unshakable confidence that will translate into every area of your life. So that was what started it for me. And then, yes, I got into the science of it, the neuroscience of it all, and I saw what was happening, neurochemically with my dopamine. No wonder I'm so driven, I'm so focused, I'm so dialed in. I don't feel like I have ADHD anymore. No wonder I have endorphins and I just feel so good and I feel so alive. No wonder I'm not sore after I go on a hike or after I do a workout. No wonder, yes, all of these mind-body benefits, physical health, recovery, mental health, stress reduction, all of those came with it, which was really surprising to me. But the very first thing in which I started doing a cold plunge every single day was because I wanted to challenge myself. I liked the challenge, and I grew to like it through exposure to it. I grew to love the confidence that I had in facing all of these other things in my life. No matter what came to me, it was, okay, I can tap into my breath. I can endure. I can persevere. I can do this. I can overcome. I can rise above whatever is confronting me in my life. And it's because this emotional resilience really is a skill, it really is a strength that we must develop. And last thing I'll add is it does, going back to when we face things involuntarily in our day-to-day life and they're hard and it's challenging, it does develop our emotional resilience. We are strengthening that mental toughness through just being human, through just living in this world that has a lot of things that can go wrong. That is going to develop us in a emotional resilience way. But I will say that when things happen in the outside world and we are developing this emotional resilience because of them, much of it we're in relationship to it in a state of reaction. We're reacting to life. So something happens in our day and then we react and we build emotional resilience to it. The difference between what happens in our day-to-day that challenges us, that then does develop this emotional resilience, and what happens in a cold plunge that challenges us and then does give us that emotional resilience, is when it happens out in the world, we're reacting. When it happens here at Polarity Plunge, we're responding. We're not living in reaction to the trial, the adversity that hits us. We get punched in the face, and then we're good, we're fighting, we're punching back, but we're still in reaction. And it feels like almost the trial or the adversity has a one-up on us because it's something out of our control. In a cold plunge, we're the ones in control. We're the ones in charge. We're the ones choosing to challenge ourselves. So instead of living in this reaction, we're living in this response. We are response able. We're responsible because we are the ones choosing to get in the cold plunge and choosing our response to the uncomfortable feeling of being in that cold water. It's very uncomfortable. It's a lot of discomfort. It's a challenge. It can feel like adversity to us, but we are choosing to respond in a different way. And that enables us to, instead of react when all of these challenges and adversities hit us in our day-to-day life, instead of living in that reaction to build that emotional resilience, we are now living in response, and we are responding to build that emotional resilience in our day-to-day life with the trials, the adversities, the obstacles that come our way. Because I do believe, the great Stoic mantra, that the obstacle is the way. Arnold Schwarzenegger said that the struggle develops the strength. The strength doesn't get developed by being strong. it gets developed by the struggle. So the struggle that it is to jump in, to do this practice, really will develop a strength, and it's so much bigger than what the biohacking community all says. It's so much bigger than contrast therapy and sauna cold plunge. It's so much bigger. And the only way for you really to experience that is to experience it. It's to consistently do this until you start to feel that confidence, that armor, that sword and that shield, in which you can go out into your day-to-day, and no matter what comes, you are calm within the chaos. Thank you for listening to this short video. I love y'all, and remember to keep smiling.